Welcome to the Digital Amateur Television Experimenters Night. This is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania. Amateur radio is a worldwide hobby that has many different aspects. Digital television is just one of the many modes and areas that are covered. Maybe you're interested in becoming involved in the DATV Experimenters Nights. You realise that you do not have to be a radio amateur or need any ATV equipment to participate anywhere in the world. Also participate in the night by coming up to the Queen's Domain club rooms. Yes, right on top of the Queen's Domain in the heritage-listed Coast Wireless Station. You never know, we might get you in front of the camera or behind doing one of the many roles during the night. We get underway with our program on a Wednesday night from 7:30 p.m. local time. We'll see you soon. This is VK7 OTC.
Okay, this is VK7 OTC, the club station of the Radio and Electronics Association of Southern Tasmania with our DATV Experimenters Night. VK7TW Justin at the microphone tonight. And I'll just do Acknowledgement of Country. In recognition of the deep history and culture of this island, we'd like to pay our respects and acknowledge all Tasmanian Aboriginal people, especially the Muwinina people of the area in Hobart, who are the traditional owners on of the land upon which we present tonight. So, just a reminder: if you are watching on streaming, and we've got a few people on there, please let us know where you're coming in from, and during the night, please, if there's any questions or anything, shoot them onto the chat. Also, we're listening on repeater 2, so 146 700. If you've got any questions or you want to put any comments. Now tonight is a bit of a history night, I suppose you'd say. I had the privilege of seeing a very unique bit of Tasmanian radio history, I suppose you'd call it, and you'll see why I hesitate there. But a fairly unique bit of radio history a couple of weekends ago, and I managed to take some photos of it and get permission to actually show this. And I've done a little bit of research around the context around these particular items. But so, to start off with, I had the privilege of seeing a Medhurst Field Telephone. Now, Medhurst is a fairly well-known name in Tasmania. For a very long time, Medhurst was associated with electrical goods. They still exist. They're up in Burnett Street and they sell kitchen and commercial type kitchen items. So they still exist. The family certainly still exists. I work with one of the great granddaughters of Frederick William Medhurst, otherwise known as Pop Medhurst, and Frederick or Pop does appear on our honour roll. The WIA's VK7 honour roll, which appears in our club rooms, which goes all the way back to 1925, F.W. Medhurst appears as the president, I think in about 1929 for a few years, and then goes from there. So he is a huge pioneer of amateur radio in Tasmania. Back in 1901, he managed to contact via spark transmitter, and we're only talking about probably 5 or 6 years after Marconi made his various contacts and started to demonstrate that radio was actually a thing. It was only about 5 or 6 years after that he set up down at Blinking Billy Point, down at Sandy Bay, and contacted one of the warships which was accompanying the Duchess and Duke of York. They came across from England to basically open up the first federal parliament at the exhibition building in Melbourne. Canberra didn't even exist, and they were accompanied by a number of warships to obviously to make sure that the Duke and Duchess were okay. And they then, after that opening of Parliament, they did a tour around Australia. They were contacted by a VK2 via spark transmitter, and then when they came into the Derwent, they were contacted by Pop Medhurst, and there is a wonderful story from the Medhurst family history, where his sons. He talks about his sons lugging these batteries down to Blinking Billy Point and setting them up, and then he started keying the transmitter as soon as they saw the warship come round the corner, and yeah, it was fascinating. Now. It was July the 2nd in 1901, and Roland 9 and Harry 8, helped to carry the Fuller block batteries at the spark coil and other gear to the site just above Blinking Billy Point, where the mast aerial transmitter and receiver were set up. A Philip 6 was given a lighter task. Philip at 6, sorry, that was one of the other sons, was given lighter tasks. He rode out with the earth wire and plate, which he dropped into the Derwent. And soon after the ships were sighted off the Iron Pot, Pop tapped out a message of welcome. The signal was promptly acknowledged by the Royal Navy and was the first ship to shore message. Now, it wasn't actually the first ship to shore message. That's actually incorrect. The first ship to shore message was up in New South Wales. And only 5 years after news of Marconi's triumph had reached the world. So, and there is actually a memorial plate down at Blinking Billy Point on the navigation light, which commemorates that event, but also the 1985 reconstruction of those events. Dave Thorne used a Marconi trench spark transmitter to do a commemoration, and it was that commemoration where they put the plaque on Blinking Billy Point, and you can see that down at Blinking Billy Point then. So Pop Medhurst was an experimenter. He was born in the United Kingdom, in Surrey, and ended up as a telegraphist at the Chobham Post Office, where he first met Alexander Graham Bell, who was making a visit from the US, and in fact at the end of that visit, Bell actually invited Pop to accompany him back to the US. He was obviously pretty impressed with Pop and his exploits around telegraphy, and so invited him back, but his parents actually didn't let him go. So I thought that was interesting. Now, through a romantic relationship to the lady who he ended up marrying, he actually made his way to Melbourne, and very quickly was employed by the Post and Telegraph Department in 1891, and then was posted to Hobart as a telegraphist and a mechanic. He supervised many of the installations around Southern Tasmania, the rural telephone lines, and he also devised a system whereby they could actually use both Morse code and voice over the same telephone lines, and in fact that featured then in him designing the field telephone. He was then sent to Queensland to install a very similar system for voice and telegraphy, which he did. And 1901 made the contact down at Blinking Billy Point. And then in 1906, he retired from the Post and Telegraph Department as Chief Mechanic. Well, Chief Mechanic. It's a word I've never seen before, but anyway, he retired from that as Chief Mechanic. Now, that means that he, in quite a short period of time, ended up as the Chief Mechanic of the Post and Telegraph Department, and he ended up designing a very interesting system. And what we'll do here is this. He ended up designing this. And this is his field telephone. Now his field, fascinating design, absolutely fascinating design, and it is both a telegraphy key and also a telephone unit connected by two wires. And the fascinating thing about this particular unit is to use Morse code, you just use the key, and that's the key just there. You'd key it down. It was a little key. If you wanted to use speech, you would hold the key down, and so long as this little toggle switch here was in the right position, you could just talk through the microphone, the carbon microphone, and it would become a telephone, a voice telephone, and that's the earpiece that you'd hold up to your ear, and then you'd talk through this particular microphone here. Absolutely fascinating device. That's the press key for signalling and speaking, and to signal. This is the little toggle switch just here. To signal to speak, you'd put that in the right position. This is all. It's about the size, or about probably 150 mil high, and you can see at the back of it, it had two copper lines, plated copper lines here, which connected to the battery that it used to sit inside a leather pouch that I'll show you in a sec. That's the earpiece. Now this is the leather pouch. This is not in terribly good condition, but there was a button on the front that it would do up. Quite a thick elephant hide sort of leather pouch. This was where the field telephone sat, and they were the two lines that then went off to the battery, which was in this compartment here, and they were the two battery connections on the back of the leather pouch. So that's what you connect to the battery. Now this is the copper plate that is actually on it. Now he went on. Pop and his wife actually went to London and tried to convince the War Department that this particular field telephone was exactly what they wanted, and unfortunately he wasn't able to do that. But the International Electric Company in London caught an eye on this particular device and made a deal with him to actually produce them, and went on to manufacture them. But you can see the plate on it clearly says, and he took out I think about 6 patents on this particular device all around the world, and you can see it says Medhurst patent. So very interesting. And the key thing with the field telephone was it was quite small. It was only 4 pounds, and compared to the units of the field telephone units of the time, it was miniature. It was like our smartphones of today versus the big bricks that we used to have. So it was quite small, it was light, it was portable, it was very easy to set up, and they were the selling points that Pop gave to the War Department. Absolutely fascinating bit of Tasmanian history. It was put together and manufactured. At least the initial prototypes were manufactured here by the Medhurst Electric Company, and I never thought I would actually see one in the flesh, and it's well and truly I was able to touch it and open it up and play with it and all of that sort of thing. So it was absolutely fascinating. Now the particular circuit of it, which is obviously quite simple. The circuit, the diagram for the Medhurst portable telephone and telegraphy instrument, and you can see there is the speaker, the battery terminals. It goes through a transformer, a coil here, down to the key. There's some capacitors in here, and there we go. There they are. There's the coil. There's the adjustable spark, the adjustable contact. There's the signal line or the speaking through the microphone. That's the handset. Sorry, got that wrong. The battery, and you're keying the battery. So absolutely fascinating. And down here, all the different plates that contain the Medhurst patent. Medhurst patent, manufactured in Hobart, Tasmania, manufactured in Sandy Bay. Medhurst Electrical Works. This was on some of their switchboards. They used to produce a lot of switchboards and a lot of electrical bits and pieces. This is the Medhurst store in 1919. So the premises at 12 to 15 Argyle Street, 1919, and this is from the Medhurst family history. And that's their store. Beautiful old Norton motorbike, 1900s Norton motorbike there. But absolutely fascinating. And there was a great little article about the field telephone in the Australian Historical Telephony Society's newsletter, which I managed to get a copy of, and it talks about Pop Medhurst and the military interests. Actually has the field telephone unit as complete. You can see the battery here, and the terminals on the back, which would connect to the telephone line. Sorry, I think I said they were battery. That would have been connected to the two telephone lines that they would have laid out. It was proven up to 150 miles. It was from a field telephone point of view. It was small. It was portable. It was easy to set up, easy to deploy, which would have all of that would have appealed to any military organisation of the time. But anyway, now I just thought I'd show you a little bit more history, because I came across as part of the research, and I was supplied this by one of the Medhurst great granddaughters who I work with. The Medhurst, the Tasmanian Electrical and Radio Trader of 1957, March 1957. And, this is very not PC, but the radio trailer, and April is National Washing Machine Month, and they've got £50,000 is to be spent during April in a drive to accelerate washing machine sales. Double your turnover by tying in with this huge promotional campaign. planned by the Home Laundry Manufacturers Association of Australia, and every woman desires a washing machine. So I'm not quite sure whether that's still the case. My grandmother had one of these. It was a tub with a wringer. I remember getting my fingers stuck in the wringer, which was rather painful. It's the thing I remember. But it's fascinating. This particular article, and the reason it was given to me is there was, looking back over 50 years, by Harry Medhurst, Mr. Harry Medhurst, who was one of Pop's sons, and this is in 1957, and he is retiring from Medhurst Electrical Works in 1957, and it goes into quite a bit of history around the Medhurst family. And the other thing that was supplied with this is there is the Medhurst building. Now, I'm not quite sure where that is, but I think it might be in Liverpool Street. Was in Liverpool Street. I don't think that building exists anymore. Not quite sure. But the Medhurst for everything electrical, Hoover, Creeder, Heckler, and they talk about they had a lathe that was modified so that they could wind up Heckler jug elements. This was with the jug elements that you used to run straight 240 volts through through the element into the water, which would boil the water real quick. So absolutely fascinating. And the other picture that was supplied to me was this one, which is the Medhurst family. Now, this is Pop Medhurst here, and I haven't got a date on this. However, these are his sons, and they're all in their, well and truly, I suspect, in their 20s. So this would be, I reckon, in the 30s. This is some of his grandchildren. In fact, this is the lady I work with. This is her father. So yeah. But this is Pop Medhurst. This is his wife Edney, and their daughters and the sons and their partners as part of the Medhurst family dynasty. So I'm intending to do a bit of an article on Pop Medhurst for the centenary, and that's a good segue into the centenary of organised amateur radio in VK7 is happening on the June 2021. We've established that is when the first committee was formed for the Wireless Institute Tasmanian Division, and so we'll be celebrating 100 years in June 2023. So if you're actually interested in being involved in the group that we're coming up with all of the events for June 2023, and there'll be a month of events, including special call signs and all sorts of stuff. Please get in touch. I've had a couple of people get in touch with me who are interested, so we'll get together a little group and we'll celebrate the centenary of organised amateur radio in Tasmania in June 2021. And hello to Lionel from New York State, KJ7OFH. Hello. Now I'll just take a bit of a break, and I'll grab Murray and Richard. So if Murray and Richard are listening, can they please make their way into the studio? And I'll just go and grab them, and I'll be right back. So I went out to get Murray and Richard, and who should I find but Warren? And welcome back.
Thank you.
So when did you get back?
On Saturday, so that's today's Wednesday, so like 3-4 days ago.
Fantastic. And I saw your very impressive post on Facebook of the tailgate of the C-17 opening up, and you saying, "Oh, trees."
Yes. It's an interesting flight on the C-17. No windows.
Okay.
Apart from a few small ones in the odd door that exists on the side.
Okay.
So you're pretty much, but it's very spacious inside.
Okay.
And it's just once you're airborne and the seatbelt sign goes off, you're free to roam around.
Okay.
And I have to say, I would prefer that anytime over the Airbus.
Well and truly.
But
so was there lots of sort of freight in the middle of the plane, or what was
we had some, not too much, but I was towards the rear of the plane, and there were some larger bundles of freight there.
Okay.
Whereas further front, it was just all vacant floor with some individual sort of like carry bags that were all strapped down to the floor.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And how long's the flight?
The flight about 4.5 hours, between 4.5 hours, something like that.
Okay.
And it's really it's really quite marvelous to you just step on a plane in one country and suddenly you're out and come out on the other country. Yes.
So what's it like being back in civilization? Dare I ask?
Noise, traffic everywhere. I'm looking forward to the warm weather. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know.
Cool.
I think probably. I mean, I've been away. I think about 9.5 months, something like that.
Okay.
So, not quite 10. So, it hasn't been that long. I mean, some expeditioners, they do go away for a whole year and a bit, so that they overlap with the next year.
Okay. So that's a winter and a summer and a bit more and a
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they have. Depending what job you're in, you might want to have a long handover time with your replacement
Colleagues. Yeah. Okay.
and so on.
Okay.
But I left with the bulk of the KC winterers who were there.
Okay.
So there were 3 that managed to escape a little bit earlier, but they didn't fly direct. They had to go via McMurdo.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been quite a long trip for them.
Ooh, yeah.
So just to get from Casey to McMurdo's, a 7-hour flight was a propeller Basler.
Oh my God.
And then you're at McMurdo and you have to get to Christchurch before you get to Australia.
So what sort of plane do you fly from McMurdo? Is that another C-17 or something like that? Or?
That'll be a jet of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Righto.
And I think they do have more regular flights there just to service all the Americans.
Yeah, okay. So they've got a runway that doesn't ice up or something, or
So they've got like I suppose a gravel or ice-free runway.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So everyone's probably asking you this. So what was the highlights for you of your months in Antarctica?
Oh, the highlights. Yeah, good question. Well, I would say once the remaining summerers had left at the start of the season, and you suddenly find yourself there with what's going to be your family, you sort of look around and
you go, oh my God.
Exactly. Let's hope this will be a good winter. Look, I have to honestly say, I think the highlight for me is the fact that we gelled well over winter.
Excellent.
And we really got along well.
Yeah, okay.
And I think of the 30 of us, all of us will be able to look back and say we enjoyed a good winter there.
Okay.
Which is not always the case.
Yeah,
You know, you might
okay.
get sort of different groups and things like
Yep.
that,
Yeah.
or whatever. But no, it's been a really great winter for each and every one of us. So I would say that's the highlight, really.
Okay. And were you able to get, like, there's obviously a program of works, I assume, that you've got to go through, given it's winter and you can't do a lot of stuff, but there's a program of works you have to go through. Sort of Kingston would program in.
Yeah, there is a program. That's right. There's I mean, it's most of it is just maintenance work, if you like.
Okay.
So it's checking the batteries on all the UPSs. There are UPSs everywhere.
Right. Okay.
Where there's infrastructure for all the networking, the servers.
Yeah.
And it's not just for IT equipment, but the whole station is monitored carefully, that all systems are working properly.
Okay.
So and all the alerts and alarms that go off, it's all IT based now.
Okay. And
So,
does that all come back to Kingston? Does that...
Kingston will get those alerts as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have of all the different trades. There's always a sparky, a plumber, a diesel mechanic on call, so to speak.
Okay.
So if there are any issues, they're the ones that have to be ready to attend to anything at any time.
Okay.
So preferably they don't drink too much.
If they're on call.
Which in fact actually applied to me too, because I got down there and suddenly found myself roped into one of the fire teams. And
okay.
I did not go through the regular firefighting training at Cambridge, which is what they normally do.
Yep.
So I got a separate role, if you like, as a driver for the vehicle.
Okay.
So introduction to the fire hag and how the pump works and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so
So there's a specific fire hagland. Is there
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's equipped with a small tank of water,
Okay.
hoses, lots of hoses, a pump,
Okay.
BA equipment.
Yep. Okay.
All that sort of stuff. And as soon as you turn the ignition on, the red and blue lights flash.
Okay.
Straight away.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
So that lives in the emergency vehicle shelter, the EVS.
Okay.
There are two hags in there. So one's a fire one, the other one is a search and rescue.
Right.
So the SAR hag, we call it.
Okay.
And so they're always kept ready to go in there.
Okay.
They're already at room temperature, whereas the other ones are parked outside. They are plugged in so that the engines stay slightly heated.
So they've got sump heaters in them and all of
Yeah,
that sort of stuff.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
so no, 3 teams. Each team is on shift for a week, if you like.
Okay.
And then every Wednesday you swap over to the next team.
Fantastic.
So
And your Mount Nelson fire training would have come into 4 there, wouldn't it?
yeah, it well, I guess it being aware of what the others need to do, sort of thing. So you help them gearing up with their BA equipment. The other roles that you can attend without being an actual firefighter is the clipboard person. So that's the person that keeps record of when the BA people go into a building.
Yep.
You time it all. And they keep a watch as to when they should be coming back out again.
Okay.
And those sort of things.
Yeah. Okay.
Another role is the tank house. So this is where the big water storage is.
Okay.
You fire up auxiliary pumps if firefighting water is needed.
Okay.
And that'll pressurize water for firefighting.
Yeah, okay.
Hydrants around the station.
Okay. Okay.
But that will interfere with the drinking water and creates a bit of a mess. You have to then flush all the system to get clean water back, etc., etc. So it's you never activate that unless
You really have to.
You really have to.
Now that's a good point. That's a good question. Where does the drinking water come from?
So at each station it's different. At Casey we have a lake just behind the station, which of course freezes over. But we have a so-called bell, which is sits in the lake, probably at the bottom. And is fed with hot water from the station, which in turn warms up the area there. Produces molten. It helps melt the ice surrounding it so that you can then draw fresh water. And so then the whole lot is then pumped back. And so that's how Casey. Casey's not too bad off for water. So at least over winter we didn't have severe restrictions. Still, showers had to be short, sort of thing. But I think like at Davis Station, it's a different story, and they were even shipping water down in large quantities.
Wow. Okay.
Haven't got the figures now at hand, but
no. Okay.
So, no, for the 30 of us, there was more than enough water. We could even run the spa. So there's a spa there.
That's a spa. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, a bit of a funny issue, that one, because I think spas were at some stage not allowed anymore, but this one somehow managed to stay there.
Slip through the net. Yes, okay. Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, that's good. And now I did see the video posted of you in the midwinter, so that would have been the winter solstice, jumping into the hole in the ice.
Ah, yes, the midwinter's swim.
with safety line on.
Yes. Oh yes, work health and safety.
Correct.
And in fact, you're not meant to jump into the water. The regulations are now such that you have to lower yourself down the ladder slowly.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think we were just naughty and we jumped in with a big splash. But you know what? Okay, the shock of that cold water, which was about -2 degrees or so, to me is no different than jumping Sandy Bay into the Derwent or something like that. It's still
it's that jolt.
Robs me of my breath.
It's that jolt, well and truly.
I wasn't going to do it, not at all, but I think I did take part in being down there with my Hawaiian beach clothes on and stuff like that. And
I did see those pictures and shorts.
Someone did say, look, we do have a spare towel, and I think the excitement just got over.
Just overwhelmed you, and you just had to jump in.
I just had to jump in, yes.
Well, it's a good memory, Warren. It's a good memory.
I'm glad I did it too. Yeah, it wasn't all that bad after all.
There you go.
Yes.
And hello from Gary down at Snug. Welcome back, Warren. JGD.
Yes. Hello, Gary.
Yeah. So that's
now of the local scene here in I think I managed to have a QSO with you at some stage.
Great.
Gary, I had a couple with.
Definitely. Yes.
And
quite late. You had one with him quite late because he mentioned that he'd spoken to you just before you came back. So
I had one or two earlier ones as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So how many all up? Like how many in total QSOs? How many QSL cards are you going to have to send? Yeah.
Yes, we'll have to add that up. So I worked because of my simple inverted V antenna, trimmed for the 20-meter band. That's really the only band I worked.
Yep.
I did try 40 meters, but it just seemed the QRM was was pretty much there.
Killing
So
it, yeah, okay.
so I kind of confined myself to the 20-meter band only.
Okay.
Yeah, at the start of winter, it seemed that I could get into Europe fairly easily.
Yep. Okay.
During the middle of the day.
Yep.
That seemed to change towards the end of end of winter. I could rarely get Europe. But,
Okay.
Overall, I did just over 600 QSOs.
Yeah, okay.
These are all SSB.
Yeah.
Talking to someone.
Yep.
Some of them were just just exchanging call sign and
signal reports. Know about that? Yeah.
Other ones, just rag chewed for a whole hour, sort of thing.
Okay.
So of the 600 QSOs, or just over, about half of that went to Australia.
Okay.
And the other half to about 40 different countries.
Nice.
So
okay. Well, they've got VK0 in their log now. So there you go. I love it.
Oh yes, and it was always a delight. I mean, the majority of people, they would say, "Oh, you're my first contact to Antarctica," and so on, and
I love it.
Yeah, it was. I always felt happy for them.
That's
too.
a buzz. That's a buzz. That's a real buzz. And can I just say the videos that opened and closed the conference got lots of great comments about them.
Ah, good. I haven't been game enough to watch them. I did see the closing one because by that stage I was able to tune into the conference and all that, but I missed the start of it. So,
Okay.
But I do trust it's online, so I'll be able to catch up.
It's on the Reast YouTube channel. I'll put both of those up there. And also, for everybody else, Ham Radio DX YouTube channel has been progressively putting all of the presentations up on the Ham Radio DX YouTube channel. Good. So now they're progressively being released by Hayden, but if you go to the playlist, they're all there. It's just some of them are actually unlisted.
Yeah.
So you can still watch them, but some of them are actually, they don't appear in the official playlist. So there you go. And welcome back from Ron, VK7RM. So there you go. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah.
There you go. So yeah. Well, fantastic. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm still sort of settling in. Have to keep the heater going at home. Yes.
Saying it's cold has a whole new meaning now.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, so I guess in due course, maybe I'll get some pictures out, this and that. We'll have lots to talk about and so on. But
I think we can book you in for a presentation.
But I thought I just stuck up briefly here at Reast tonight.
Cool.
Don't know how long I'll be able to stay, but I thought I'd say hello to the group.
Good stuff, Warren.
Here we are. So,
great stuff.
Good. Well, I'll head back and say hello to the others and allow the next two to come into the studio.
Thank you, Warren.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good to have you back.
Thanks very much, Justin.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, we'll just do a quick reset and we'll get Murray and Richard into the studio, and we'll talk about the VHF UHF Field Day and do a bit of a wrap up of the Field Day. So yeah, just stand by and we'll be right back. We are on now, though. So I welcome Murray, VK7ZMS, and Richard, VK7ZBX, regular contributors to the DOTV nights. And Murray and Richard trekked up to the Mount Wellington, top of Mount Wellington, in the super duper field day van.
Yep.
How'd it go?
Awesome. Yeah. There was lots of people about.
Okay, cool.
I think without a doubt the highlight of the adventure was working some VK3s.
Ooh, what frequency?
On 2 metres. 2 metres and 70 centimetres.
By almost complete accident.
Yeah. We were,
Oh, okay. The story is.
Oh no! We were just tuning through the SSB thing, and they were very strong, and we almost too strong to think they were in VK3. And then I'm like, hang on a minute.
Well, they're doing up on 170.
Yeah, let's go talk to them.
Wow. And was that the whole day? Was that? Or...
No, that was in the middle of the afternoon,
Okay.
and they were a bit tricky to track down because. They were doing a band dance with somebody, and they just kept moving frequency, and we kept having to go and find them.
Of course, they
on the
were
next
going
band.
up high, so they were going to 1296, and then they were going to 2.4 gigs, and whatever. And we're like,
we lost them as soon as they went.
Come down.
Well, we just sort of after a while, we just kept, and
I
eventually
think we
heard
just
them talking
kept
to
calling
somebody.
them, and they go, "Oh, QSM, was that VK7?" Well, really, it was.
Points.
Yes.
So, how many contacts did you end up with?
I ended up with 163, 164. I did a few more the next day on the Sunday morning.
Okay.
Because Murray was doing the 24-hour one, so I came up, gave a few more, but I entered the 8-hour section. I think it was 163, 164.
Yeah.
How many points? That must have been
32,000 or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
came up on Sunday morning, got a few extra points, but I think I only got to about 130 contacts.
Okay.
Richard was going a bit harder on.
And
So
can I just say, your QTH at the Lauderdale boat ramp was outrageous.
It has a good takeoff to the mountain.
Well and truly.
Yes.
Like, you were up there with the plus 60 from my perspective.
Oh, everyone was, and people, and it's funny because I only live like 2 kilometres away, and the difference between home and there is amazingly different.
So from the boat ramp, you have a absolutely clear view to the mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
So Doran's Road is just on the opposite side of
The canal.
No. So you go down past the canal towards Sandford, and then you turn right and go around
Okay.
Yes. So you're out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Righto. I've got where you are.
It's not far. Like.
As the crow flies, not very far at all.
No. And you're not getting much. You're going sort of sideways. You're not actually getting much closer to the mountain than you are at my place. But there's no trees.
There's nothing. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Be a shot.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm using a much smaller antenna than I normally do.
Oh, okay.
I was just using a little short 23
So
centimetre
the
one.
1.5 metre.
No, but even just the 17 element one. It's not even 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Whereas at home I've got like a 4 metre one. Less coax. Oh, yeah, less coax loss.
Okay.
Yes. Speaking of which, we had to re-terminate that on Sunday morning because I came up and I talked to Rex, who of course was 60/9 anyway, and then somebody else who was quite strong, and then I couldn't hear anyone else, and I could hear LEE just barely. I'm like, and then I talked to Richard on 2 metres, and we went to 23, and there was like nothing. I'm like, there was a connector that it was a bit. Looking a bit wonky. Look, it was a bit dodged before we started on Saturday, and on Friday when I packed the van, I put the VNA and the dummy load on it. Went, no, it's good, good, but too much wriggling. LMR 400, yeah. So I put a new one on, and all of a sudden everyone was 60/9.
There you go.
So it was
correct. There is something to when you either terminate or you pull a cable out of the box. Of testing it.
Look, I did do that before. I
And if
did
it
do that
doesn't
on
test
the
right,
Friday.
the best thing to do is to cut it in half.
Make shorter patch leads.
No.
Yes.
Put it back in the box.
No.
It might fix itself for next time.
Oh,
No. It might cause more heartache next time.
because it'll be raining, it'll be night.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, let me grab this lead.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say you packed up and it was cold and I just ripped the cable off.
No. We packed it quite carefully. I think I actually damaged it putting it on the. I think it was a bit wonky, and I damaged it putting it on because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our bump out was very leisurely. It was actually quite pleasant up there.
Yeah, it wasn't that cold.
We were expected to pack up around about 6.
Well,
But we were
Correct.
still,
And I
working people at 8 o'clock.
contacted you later than that. Well and truly.
Yeah. No, there was more people than normal on, I think.
Great.
A few people didn't hang around long, they sort of came up and go, but that's
Yeah.
sort of good. We had a couple of guys that we'd never spoke to before in Launceston, because PD and DW were
Andrew.
White Hills. But I worked Stefan, ZSB, we worked him on 6.2 and 70 and tried 12.96, but
No,
it's not
no
quite
cigar.
enough,
There
like
you go.
close.
Yeah.
And I worked KBC.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Peter.
He was portable as well, so I think there was a guy up the northwest, MG, but we didn't hear him. I think he might have worked at Boys in Launceston, but
Or across the Bass Strait.
I think he was probably working across Bass Strait.
Because later on Saturday, I looked at the Hepburn charts. Later on Saturday, there was a little bit that came across Bass Strait,
okay,
and I went, that's going to work in their favour.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So if
and
they
that was
managed
probably
to,
the
that's probably what we were,
7.
because the guys were really strong on
they were on
2
2
metres.
metres, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like
They were nearly there on 12.96. There was something you could tell there was someone
Something
who was
there.
certainly not enough to make contact.
no,
Okay. All right.
or we could have just been imagining it.
But there was also, I noticed on the Facebook group, there was a few people in VK2 that went and set up and didn't work anyone for 3 hours and packed up and went home.
You kidding me?
No, there was, I can't
Where
remember
were
the name of the club.
And
or whatever,
was
but-
their equipment working?
Well, that's what they were apparently at the bottom. They said yes, our equipment was working.
Okay, righto. Okay.
So we were reasonably happy. It highlighted a few of the inadequacies of not having a remote, like the big mast, of course, we can just lean over and turn. The 12.96 one, of course, we can't. So we work the guys up north,
Okay.
and you'd say, oh, someone down south's calling. You said, you run out, turn it around.
Now, how did the 6 metre Moxon go?
Well, we didn't have any DX, so hard to say.
Right.
It
Okay.
worked fine for around
Yeah,
Hobart
yeah,
FM,
yeah.
so I don't.
And you didn't have to turn it or anything.
Well, it turns with the 2 and 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we turned it to work anyone that came up that was low.
Yeah.
But stay tuned. Summerfield Day coming up, 6 metres.
Correct.
Should be a good test.
Yeah.
I am intending to be in that, and intending to find
Have
an
you-
elevated location.
Have you checked that you don't have a training assessment day?
No, there isn't a training and assessment day on that day. And
Because I seem to remember you miss a few of these because of that same excuse.
Planning.
Correct, and you're perfectly right to remind me of that. I did say to Reg that we really on the actual training and assessment day that we really need to probably check out the contest.
Because Reg did come up, I think, in the exchange.
Oh,
a few
correct.
numbers,
He
yeah.
did,
Correct.
yeah.
Yes. So, and I don't know what Reg has done, but he has his signal has improved out of sight. So,
On 23. Yep.
so
It was
See how
very,
it's gone to my
it was
place.
very strong to me down
Yeah.
at Torrance Road.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah. Anyway,
The path of him and the path of Delta Mike to the mountain and to
Well,
us is like, jeepers.
The thing is, Delta Mike's path is dubious at best,
correct. He's down
but
behind the hill.
but he was S9 plus to me.
Okay. When you were at the boat ramp.
Yeah, well, I think maybe he points in that direction to bounce off something else.
Oh well, probably.
I'm not
what?
sure.
It would be Guy Fawkes Hill, which sits sort of.
I thought he had some tank that he pointed at.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe he does. Maybe water
Anyway,
tank or something.
whatever it was, I was getting him way stronger than normal. Like
Okay.
I could normally
Okay.
hardly hear him.
Okay. Cool.
S3 is about as on a good day,
Yeah.
and everyone was full strength. Yeah.
The best signals we were getting on the Sunday morning was on 3.4.
Good signals on 3.4.
3.4 is a 23 centimetre round the town talk channel.
We struggled a bit on 2.4, didn't we? We're
No.
both only running 2 watts, but we got there in the end.
Yeah. No, it was all right. I didn't. Yeah. But certainly, I think from an improvement perspective, we'll probably run 2 systems on 23
Okay.
because there's a lot of people. We need to do something on 9.
Yep.
Don't
So
know that
what?
we'll run. We need to be able to point the antenna.
Okay. So what, to cover up north and also cover local?
Yeah. Because when you're on the mountain, they're pointing at you, but when you've got so much energy going north...
Correct.
For instance, we couldn't hear and work Brian.
Okay. Kingston?
Yeah.
He's down over the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he can't move. He's always going to point at us. It's not like he can say, "Oh, hang on, I'll spin round at Mount Rumney."
So I'm not sure what the plan will be there. I mean, it's conceivable that we could put one up the mast.
What about a collinear? Like vertical or something? So it's got a bit of gain, but because I say that because I've used both the Yagi and the collinear. So I built a coax collinear for 23 centimetres, which is metre and a half long or whatever it is, and took that up to Mount Wellington, and that was fantastic for the local contacts.
Okay.
Crap for the north.
Yeah.
Went to the Yagi for the north, but yeah, that was definite option.
Look, we do need to do something for 23, and I think we'll probably improve our northerly pointing Yagi.
Okay.
We'll probably put a bigger Yagi, and I think we'll probably put an amp and maybe put the amp at the masthead.
Because we've got some of those those amps we bought out of the UK. They're, I think 60 watts on 1296, which would just be a nice lift.
Well, truly.
And I think too, we're going to investigate the costing of the SG Lab 2.4 amps.
Okay.
So I think they're like 20 watts out, and they only draw like a couple of amps.
Wow. Okay.
Just need 28 volts, but I think a buck converter would probably run that from.
And what sort of antenna are you using for that?
Just a grid.
Just
a
grid pack.
conifer grid pack.
Yeah, got a grid pack. And we normally run a grid pack on 3.4 as well, but this time we used my home gear.
Normally bring mine, but mine was it's way too hard to get off my roof.
He's permanent, instead of having, he's permanently mounted up on his roof, and his roof's particularly difficult to access. It's very steep.
It's only temporary. So I told
Whereas
them
my
it's only
roof
temporary.
of the shed is flat and very easy to access, so we just use the square panel,
Okay.
which I don't know what the gain of it is, maybe 15 dB, so not huge.
I did buy one of Spook Tech's 23 centimetre grid packs
Okay.
with feed.
Yep.
So
It's
I
too small for 23.
really do want to do a comparison,
yeah, I'd
between like a
between
1.5
a 1.5 yard. Yeah, I'd be very keen to do that.
and just do an AB and see.
Well,
Because
when we started down this
Small.
23 centimetre path a few years ago, you remember I proposed using a 900mm dish on 23 centimetres,
okay.
and Rex came back the next week and presented a white paper on
Why not?
Yagis versus dishes.
on how much gain we should expect, and including spillover and all the rest of it, and calculation, and came to the conclusion we needed at least 1.2 metre dish to be the equivalent of one of those 17 element Yagis,
Okay.
which is why
We've
down
got
that
some
low-
Yagis.
We've all gone down the Yagi path.
Yeah. Now, having said that, I've got a 1.8 metre dish at home, which I'd like to. I
1.5.
never envisaged using it on 23, to be honest, but
Okay.
2.4 and 3.4, so 9 centimetres I think would be excellent.
Wow. Would blow things away.
N+1.
EME. 23 centimetres.
That's no EME on 9 centimetres I think is an aspiration, but I don't think 23 centimetres is.
I reckon the guys that are doing 9 centimetres EME have got like Charlie NX3NX, I think's got a 3.7 metre dish and 100 watts. Getting 100 watts on 9 centimetres might be a bit tricky. There's those Toshiba amplifiers, the U238Bs or whatever,
Okay.
that apparently you can modify, and they'll give 50 watts out.
What are they? GAN devices or something? Or are they not that
They're-
old, that young?
No, they're older, but they're quite sought after. But I think there might be a bit of an option there, if depending on what the FCC decide for the US guys. So if the FCC foreclose on 9 centimetres in the
There
States,
could be a bit of gear for sale.
there could be a bit of gear for
There
9
Could
centimetres.
well and truly be. Good point. Good point.
Because I think Europe have abandoned it a fair bit, really.
Oh, well, all the telcos have grabbed it. That's the.
Well, they've grabbed ours too, we've just sort of snuck it down the
We've only
bottom.
got
Correct.
just a tiny little bit left,
But
which
that's-
is all we need.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Still got a bit left, which is why I spent the money on the 3.4 stuff. As soon as we knew we're still going to have a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. And the other thing that's potentially happening is the SG Labs 5.7, 5.8 gig.
I think there's
transfer.
quite a few.
Yeah, I don't know how potential that is.
Huge potential. Huge
A
potential.
definite possibility. One of my favourites.
Huge potential.
They haven't answered my last email in regards to
The only two other
in
options.
regards to that, so I'm leaving in a while before I ping them again.
Okay.
They're quite expensive, the two options. There's Mr. Kuhn,
Yes.
and he's about €600, I think.
For 200
That's for
milliwatts.
250 milliwatts out. But Down East Microwave do a 2-watt version, and
Correct.
there's a 775 US. So that's about $80 million, but
An arm and a leg and a
but
liver.
quite a bit.
Yeah. And the kidney.
And again, 2 watts is it would be perfect for cross town and probably to Launceston. But
The one you're missing is the 905. The IC 905. Yes.
we haven't got any costing on that yet. And that'll be the bit
That's the other kidney.
that'll either be it'll be like, oh yeah, or it'll be like, yeah, nah.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. Anyway, I jest.
And that's what will happen. It'll be mentioned on future things. Oh, what about the 905? It'll be like,
Look, it might come out at a reasonable price, having seen the kit that comes with it, I suspect not.
I think marketing people will have a bit to do.
Correct, and it'll be what the base unit's worth versus what the 10 gig transfer.
See, it's
is
interesting. A
worth.
lot of people said they think the 10 gig option will be $1,000. Well, if the 10 gig option's $1,000, then you just run straight to Kuhn and buy a Kuhn transverter and be in front.
Correct.
I think.
I mean,
But what would they sell the base unit for if that was $1,000?
I'm guessing the unit without 10 gigs, if they made that an option, it'd be under $3,000.
Yeah.
Sort of $2,800, and then people have said $1,000 for the 10 gig thing. I would say more, like 600.
nah, I think it'll be hard to know.
But don't forget too, they're going to have to market stuff like a triplexer for the.
No, well and truly.
For the
See, the thing is, theirs is a everything, just plug and play, right?
Oh, no, correct.
Whereas the stuff
You pay for the convenience.
Stuff we're comparing it with, we have to build into something. It's
That's
not
right.
just-
You get the package from Kuhn. It's like, oh, now I've got to build all this stuff.
You've got to integrate it, whereas they've done all the integration and made a very nice, 705 like control box.
Well, I still think too that with great power comes great responsibility. Having it all integrated like that, unless they're clever and have lots of options for flexibility, then it could well be stopped really quickly in its tracks. Like if there's no push to talk outputs for each band,
Correct.
and no GPS locking and no way to grab data to do sequencing, then the traditional microwave people will sort of just go.
Not yeah. So, but the one we saw was pre-production, so it could well change.
But pre-production, but a fully working unit.
A fully working unit.
Because that was the point I made when I said I did the 23 centimetre contact and I did the 5.7 gig ATV contact.
And then we heard that the beacon on 10 gig, that little beacon of mine on 10
like,
gigs.
and we were seeing it, and it was happening, and it was real. It wasn't just a mock-up. It wasn't just a, So, I think it was a whole lot more functionality than what we saw.
For the 9700 when it was sort of.
No. For the 905 when it was released in the US.
Oh yeah.
That was just the head unit, and that just looked like a reconstituted 705.
But I still think too there is the ability. One of the things I've always wanted the 9700 to do is to be able to have a multiplier so it can actually reproduce the dial frequency of where you're at. So if you're using a transverter. Now we saw it obviously in the 905, and by complete accident the other day, my 9700 must have had a glitch because I turned it on and it came up on 4.7 gigs.
Okay.
It didn't churn, it didn't anything, obviously that had a moment, but
No.
there was enough numbers in the display to be able to.
Well, it's just an offset.
Yeah.
That's and like my HP SDR, you can put in all the
offset.
transverter frequencies, and you get the right thing on the display. It's this sort of stuff.
And that doesn't really matter so much. But what would be good is that display then turns into CAT, and you can log using it.
Yes.
Then it's all of a sudden useful.
Well, true.
Up till that point, it's whatever.
But you would expect being an ICOM radio, it would have CIV output of some sort that you could then configure and do all that sort of stuff. So the CIV to CAT
And if there's
control-
obviously some variable that's changed to 10,368, then that would be in the CIV data stream, which would you could just log.
do that
Yeah.
on the way through.
So
That would be really nice.
it's all really a matter of how much trouble they want to go to for that stuff. Like just because we think it's cool, like
Oh no, and correct. And lots of suggestions have been put forward, and Rex well and truly put the
poor old
suggestions
hero would have
forward.
gone back.
Oh my god! Yeah. He probably went back to his hotel room and typed up all of this stuff.
But really, push to talk out on each band.
Correct.
Lets you put an amplifier on it, otherwise it's...
I believe that they've overcome that limitation on the 9700. The VK4 AMG, I think, has just released a push-to-talk box.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's on one of the Facebook groups that basically uses CIV data.
Okay.
So basically, when it knows when you're on 2 metres,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you
yeah.
transmit it, it'll close a set of relay contacts and give you a nice, which is...
Nice.
Um,
Okay.
So again, obviously, once stuff comes out, clever people will overcome any limitations, but the more groundwork ICOM can do from the start and promote it out of the box, like it'll do this.
The more opportunity there would be to sell something. Well and truly.
Yeah, for sure.
Well and truly. Oh, that's excellent. That's good.
Not a
And
digressed from field day, but...
oh no. Well, hey, that's what this is about. This is definitely. All right.
We had some fun. It was good weather. Mount Wellington was kind to us.
Well and truly. Well and truly. And
In fact, it was quite hot up there on a few occasions.
Oh. Okay. Right.
Heater worked well.
Excellent. And we need to start the promotion of the Summerfield Day.
Well, look, the Summerfield Day, I think, is probably one of the pretty exciting ones to promote because it's in the middle of the 6 metre season. So when Hayden and I did it one year, we just couldn't believe how much activity there was.
That year, I went down to Eaglehawk Neck, up above Eaglehawk Neck on that hill. That was where I got those openings as well.
Yeah.
Down there and couldn't believe it. That was VK4s.
Yeah.
You know, and
Didn't you work one year that you got the furthest contact? Was it the VK4?
wow.
Yeah.
I just wacko. And in fact, on the video, I did a little video, and I didn't realise in the background as I walk around to say, "Here's my operating position," you can hear the VK4s calling on 6
nice.
metres.
Yeah, when Hayden and I did it was when we had a small issue with their generator. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Right. Yes, okay.
But, no, it was good. So that'll be. You're right. That'll be a good. And 6 metres will obviously be the big band, but
Correct.
but also, so there's a bit of tropo about, so you never know.
2 and 7.
We don't don't run off the generators with power supplies anymore. We just run all off batteries.
Yeah. Much.
And just top it up.
Correct.
Charger.
Okay.
The van has an 80 amp charger on 12 volts, so whenever the generator's running, it's topping it up at whatever it needs. So
So you don't have to run the generator for very long.
no, well, that depends.
Okay.
When it's the winter one and you're running the fan heater all day.
Yeah. Okay. Understand.
Summerfield day, no, you can't even tell how much. You can't even tell how
You
Run
much.
can
the
turn the
aircon.
air conditioner on.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't think we have one of those.
I got one in stock. The snorkel out the door.
Yeah, Peltier device. You know, you can. They're fairly power hungry, but anyway, yeah. I've got a dehumidifier that uses a Peltier device.
Really?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and all that does is it condensates
Yeah.
it condenses the water on the Peltier device because it's
okay.
the old bit and drips it into a reservoir.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
So well, hopefully we'll be able to get a few more people interested, and it'll be great.
I know, well and truly. So Summerfield Day, you can expect the promotion to start.
Notice
so,
there's a lot of logs submitted too when I submitted mine, so good stuff. A lot of VK7s.
A lot of
which is
VK7s.
excellent.
I thought the same thing. I logged it Sunday night, and there were already a lot of VK7s on Sunday night, and I sort of went, okay, people finish the contest.
And that's the trick. Don't sort of let it get away from me, because otherwise it'll be like, oh.
Like last year, and I forgot to get mine in.
You get that in the big jobs.
Or you get a note from Trent, you get a note from Trent saying, can I have your log for the 2021 Spring Field Day? And I went, yeah, okay, righto. Well, I think I submitted it. And then I looked back through and I went, I didn't work that. Because I then looked in the VKCL folder structure and went to Spring Field Day and went, there's nothing in there. I didn't work that contest for some reason. I didn't.
Probably had a training and assessment day.
Oh, probably, yeah. Thank you, Murray. Thank you. Yes.
I just seem to remember this excuse a few times. I'm
all right. Okay.
I think this is at least the third time I've heard that.
Yeah, all right. Okay. we have processes in place. All right.
All right.
Thank you and congratulations. I think you're probably well and truly up there, you two. In the.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't count that too soon.
Okay.
If the
Some of
guys
those
up
guys, the
north
VK4 boys, Kevin and Colin, have got a place that they hire like an Airbnb.
Mr. Hepburn was looking much better for
them.
Northern Australia.
Like,
yes. Wasn't
They've got the best outlook, and they've just got like a big veranda with all their dishes just sitting out there.
And you've seen the pictures where it's absolutely pouring with rain or whatever, but they're just sitting there on the balcony.
Well, I did notice they were actually sitting back there and looked quite luxurious, short sleeve shirts and stuff. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
right. Okay.
We're actually considering going north for the summer one.
Oh, doing the Bass Strait thing?
Well, it's got to be nice Airbnb up the top of Burnie there, that the outlooks.
Table coat.
We'll go and knock on the door of the people where DC used to live. Can we use your backyard?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you never know.
We're considering all options because we may not have the access to the field day van for the summer one. So it's like we've got to do something different. So maybe we'll go north and hope we get some 6 months. We haven't decided yet.
Okay. Well, we look forward
watch
to
this space.
Watch this space. Fantastic. All right. Okay. It's 8:43. Overtime. So, just to remind people, next week is the End of Year BBQ. If you haven't said you're coming, please let us know that you're coming. Click the link that was sent to you, or go to the Facebook events page because the link's there. Let us know you're coming. And I understand that Tony's also doing a middle of the day WAGs barbecue, and then he's coming back again to do the end of the day.
ODing on barbecue.
He just is a weapon, absolute weapon. So thank you to Tony, VK7, VKT. So we'll wrap it up at that. Thanks for viewing and commenting. And we'll see you. We won't see you next week because we've got the barbecue, and then we'll get underway with the week after that. So second week of December. So there we go.
Wrapping up pretty quick, isn't it?
And then we're into silly season. Yeah.
Already.
Okay. Already.
All right.
Well and truly. So 73, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.